Welcome back to Pile of Mopars. We have a few more treasures to show you, and this will start off with this beauty right behind me. Okay, here we have another 70 Cuda. This one here, funny enough, happens to be an original yellow car as well, like the other one, just by accident. This one's got a black interior. Anyway, this one is a factory 446 pack, 4-speed shaker hood with 410 Dana 60. Pretty much the next best thing to a 70 Hemi Cuda, really. It's got all the right ingredients. I'll just pop this bubble off here and let you have a look. Here we have the 446 pack. So this is not the original engine to this car. This is in fact a 72 engine, I believe. I got it running, but it got a rod knock, fairly bad one, so there's no point in going any further with it. I would like to probably find a date correct block, a 70 HP, and stick in there, but if that doesn't happen, if I don't find one in time, I'll just, I got numerous 440s, or even open this one up and have a look inside. But it's a nicely optioned car. It's a power disc brake car, even though it's got the wrong master on it. 3-speed wipers, which is standard with the shaker. 26-inch rad. That's part of the super track pack. Anyway, it's pretty nice car. It is a factory shaker car, but this is a reproduction hood, so it lost its original hood somewhere. Or I shouldn't say this is a reproduction. This is a converted hood. This is a factory flat hood with the the trim ring and the hole cut and everything put into it. But needs a bit of finishing touch. But I'll run that for now. Ideally, it'd be nice to have a factory shaker hood, but they're quite pricey. And this car came from California originally. It was brought up to Canada here on the Vancouver Island early to mid 2000s, so it's been up here 20 years, and no one ever really did anything with it. I've had it for about a year and a half now. It came up for sale online, but anyway, I'll give you a quick walk around. It's a dual mirror car, chrome mirrors, no vinyl top like the other one, and black hockey stick stripes. And then this has the black interior. Yeah, so it's got some reproduction seat covers on it. Buckets console, manual windows. It's got standard steering wheel. It does have the rally gauge package. But here's the key. Look at this. This is a California car. Look at those floors. That's what's left of the original paint on there. And the other side is the same way. Just beautiful condition. Sure makes life easy having cars this clean. Not like most of my junk. And it came with lots and lots of new parts as well. It's all original body panels. Like I say, they're quite solid. As far as rust goes, it's all really good. Even the back window is good. Although it looks like it's been primed around there, but it all looks pretty solid. It's solid inside. Give a look at the back end. It's kind of hard here when it's just in this tent. Here's a little bit of the car's history. So I looked up that college. It's down in, I think it's San Jose, so south of San Francisco. So this is a mid to northern California car. Although, with the tips coming through like that, the exhaust tips, I don't believe California cars sold new there were allowed to have that because of noise pollution. So maybe it was imported from somewhere else, but it's quite a clean car for sure. Down the other side here, bit of a dent there. it came with rally wheels on. I just stuck these Spider motor wheels on just to see what they looked like, but they don't suit the car for me, so put the rallies back on. But this is probably going to end up day 2 type build where I'm going to probably have it a little jacked up in the back with big fat tires, 10-inch either Kragers or center lines or something, and give it a bit of a day 2 look. Just, you know, to change it up, just bolt on stuff, right? Nothing that's, you know, can't be changed back. Here we go. It's so hard to film in here because you gotta hold the light and everything, but dash door panels are in really nice shape. Console's nice. Dash pad's mint. It's really clean. It's original windshield, although it's got a big crack in it. It's never been changed, so it's kind of neat. I mean, it needs to be changed, obviously, but it's just interesting that it's still the original. And there's an extra radio and stuff, and a little shot of the floor pan, but a really neat car. So I look forward to getting this on the road one day. I'll give you a better shot of the front here. When I was down in Vegas there, a guy was selling a nice 70 Cuda or Barracuda grill, and there was no cracks, no missing pieces, and man, it would have been nice to have because this one's got a little bit of damage. And it was only $300, but of course I came on an airplane, so it's kind of hard to deal with that, and shipping a grill would be a bit of a ordeal. You can see a couple pieces missing in mine, but I have those pieces, so I'll have to epoxy them or re-glue them, however they repair plastic grills, and then redo it. And you can see the one headlight bucket's cracked on the end there. Anyway, all original body panels. Car's never been apart, and it's a really cool time capsule. Like I say, it's not the original motor, but you know, you can't win them all, right? Anyway, that's on the first on our list for today. I forgot to mention that it came with 2 sets of 6-pack carburetors. One I sent to or sold to a buddy, and the other one I have waiting for this. So I pretty much have everything for it. It's just you know, time to get at it, right? So time will tell for sure. Okay, this one is in the not so Mopar camp, but you guys seen my Javelin in part 1. Well, this is the AMX I bought. It's been a while ago now, I guess. Can't even remember. Anyway, this is a 73 AMX 401, and this is automatic, and this has the Pierre Cardin interior I was telling you about. I mean, it's just so funky and 70s. Yeah, I mean, it was an option on these cars, and I think it's neat. It just makes the car stand out. This is a original silver car with that interior. I think would be pretty sharp. Now this car, like I said, was originally 401 automatic. The 401, the guy, a couple owners before me threw it away because it needed some work. So he put a 360 in, and that's what I ended up getting with the car. I would like to find a 401 for it, but they are quite pricey actually. Anyway, I do have a 360 I can put in right away. I'm just trying to give you a bit of a view of this thing here. It's kind of hard to see in this trailer. You see all the stuff up on top. One thing that's really neat on these cars, it's kind of maybe hard to see, but that is a cowl hood. Like, you know, it opens at the back just like a Chevy hood would be, or a Chevy cowl hood. Anyway, they're neat. They are fiberglass outer skin, and then a metal framework underneath. And if you can see here, you see it comes up here. Anyway, there's I'll get the light on there. There's a mesh in there, and that's where the cowl induction comes from. You see all those little holes there on the mesh, and that goes right into your air cleaner as a cold air induction. So that's really cool. I always thought that was a neat item on these. And the other thing I think is really cool is the big ducktail spoiler. It's like the body contours. It's so exaggerated that it's just in your face. So I really like that. So I'm going to go around to the other side here. Well, here we are coming in the side door. It's got some big fat 10-inch wheels on the back. And for if I don't have any other wheels, I might end up using these and just like blasting them and painting them black or something like that. They're not a bad looking wheel, just in kind of brutal shape. Anyway, here's the side going out. Typical of these cars, they get a rusty back end. This is all full of mud and stuff. And so I'll probably have to buy some new lower quarter patch panels and try and make them work. There's that wing I was telling you about. I think that's just so neat. I'll step inside here. Came with a whole bunch of extra parts and stuff. What project car doesn't, right? So I picked this up in on Vancouver Island. And there's two different other guys that had the other parts for sale. So that front valance I picked up from a guy in the area there, and then the fender, a nice clean straight fender, rust free, I picked up in the Vancouver area from a different AMC guy. So I did that while I was down there, on doing the trip. And the interesting thing is, I mean, I know these cars aren't valued like a Mopar or any of the main three, but it's neat to have to get a deal on prices. I'm so used to, like, that fender there, rust free and straight, was $200. If that was a Mopar fender, that would be $800 and up, depending on the body. But here's the rear end of the car, and even surprisingly, the trunk is in good shape inside. Here you can see some of the original silver color right here. It's like a pewter silver or something, with numerous crappy repaints over top. But here's the trunk. Overall pretty solid. It's got a few little rust holes right on the end here, but it's just the way it is. Yeah, so that's this, and I'll just pop the hood there and show you under the hood. Okay, let's lift this heavy hood. Being a fiberglass skin, it's still heavy as heck. Here's a common deal on these hoods, is that inner skin just rusting away, and of course this one's no different. You can take the inner skin of a standard hood and then mesh it to this and modify it, and that might have to be done, I don't know. But here's what we got here. We got power steering, power disc brakes, the usual stuff. Like I say, I got a 360 with it. I got an automatic, but I have a parts car that I'm about to show you, and I got an idea of what I'm going to throw in this thing. So a buddy of mine, Cody, sent me this message from Facebook, and it was this car for sale down in the Vancouver area as well. And it turns out to be a 73 AMX as well. This one though is pretty rough. I mean, it took a big hit here in the front. It's got a 360 in it, but it is sea solid. Vancouver can be quite wet, just like a Seattle area would be, and things just rust. Anyway, this car is pretty rough, but it is a gold mine for parts. Like, it's got another cowl hood here, and here we'll have a look here. Maybe you can see it better, the cowl part, but maybe not. Anyway, you can see it under there. Anyway, it's got a ton of parts that I could really use. I'm not sure which cowl hood I'm going to use because I haven't determined which is better yet. I did score all the emblems off this thing. This is a Pierre Cardin emblem that goes there, and then an AMX emblem that goes here, and my car was missing both. But as you can see, this car here is pretty rough. Like, you know, it is a rare model, but there's limits. You just can't, wouldn't be worth fixing at all. But it does have this another wing, and this wing is in better shape than the one on my car, so I'll switch that out. I'll probably mix and match with the taillights to get the best ones. This bumper is not bad, but it's got a bit of a tweak here, and so I'm going to switch that off that brown plain Jane model and there. And then here, this blackout here, that is one of the things that comes with the optional Go Pack, which gives you a posi rear end. Twin grip is what AMC calls them. And so that'll have a twin grip diff. Probably a higher ratio. I haven't decoded it to see. Anyway, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use, I'll show you here in a second. The reason these are cut out, I mean, they were all rusted anyway, is I could not get into the trunk. It was, the lock was, there was no key for it, and I tried drilling and stuff, and it just, the way it's set up in their trunk lid, it just wouldn't come apart. So I thought, well, I'll just cut open this, reach in, and just unscrew the latch from the trunk lid, and yeah, popped right open. These kind of a neat wheel. These are only 14 inch. The 15 inch ones are quite valuable. It'd be kind of a neat wheel to run on the car if I could get some big fat ones. These ones got such a bulge fender that you got to have, you know, lots of tire in there for, in my opinion, make it work good. It's got nice stainless here, front and back, so I'm going to use that on my car. But here you can see, it's just rough. And not only that is, you know, take a big hammer here on there, and then across the other side you can see it's just perforated with rust. So she's no prize, that's for sure. But here I'm going to show you the interesting part of the inside. This one here, interestingly, is Pierre Cardin interior as well. And typical of these, the material is usually filthy, just like this, and faded. It always sun fades. But it's a canvas material as opposed to a cloth. So it must be, I don't know what it's made out of, but it's very durable. Like, quite often you don't see that it rips or anything, but it is faded and filthy. So I did find some reproduction material you can buy for that now, and a local guy had it done, and man, oh man, does that pop. But one thing you cannot get, and I'm glad this car has, is the headliner. Cardboard backed, and they're very hard to get that aren't all mush from water and moisture and stuff. But this one's intact, and it seems to have pretty decent colors, so I'm going to use that in my car, and that is definitely a score. Impossible to find. Anyway, the neat thing about this, and of course you get the door panels with the colors on it as well, but the neat thing about this car is it's a 4-speed. This is a 360 4-speed car. So what I'm thinking is, and I believe they're a Borg Warner T10, Super T10. I think I'm going to maybe convert my car into a 4-speed. So we've got the pedals there, all that will come over, you know, shifter, the console, lid and everything. Quite hard stuff to find. So anyway, I think I'm going to put all that into my car, make it a 4-speed car, 401 4-speed. This has got what they call the Go Pack gauges. Anyway, neat, and they got like an engine turned texture to the face here, just like a Trans Am, later Trans Ams had. Anyway, it's kind of neat. So that's that. So this is the parts car, because it's a pile of crap. So much rust everywhere, every panel. But you know, it's got, like I said, a gold mine of parts. You got really nice rocker trim here, nice and straight, so I'll use that. You know, every little bits of chrome and stuff, and you know, corner pieces. There's lots to use, and a lot of the interior door panels and stuff, and regulators for the doors, so seat belts. Yeah, so this is more of my madness. Here's another rust spot, nice and up high. Just terrible. And then here, look at this side. This thing sat for decades. And then of course it got hammered in the front. I'll lift this hood here. You can see the grill acrylic got kind of smashed, but I do need both of these, so that's a bonus. Both sides. And here, that rat is just sort of jammed in there on top of the engine from the impact. And yeah, I took the carburetor off and I filled it with diesel and stuff, but it's not going to do anything, I'm sure, to unstuck it. But the intake manifold was rusted through on the inside, on the plenum. It was that bad. And so, anyway, she's toast, but it's going to live on in other ways, so definitely worth its weight. Okay, next up is another one of Shauna's babies. This was her pride and joy prior to the Whale, and of course it still is. This is a 72 Dodge camper van. It's low miles, original paint. We got it from the second owners, an older couple that had it since '74, and they used to travel quite a bit. Well, I shouldn't say that. Probably every summer they would go to Saskatchewan. That's where they're originally from. And then they would travel a bit through the States. So it's neat. Oh, it's kind of hard to see. It's got all those stickers from, when you travel places. It tells you where it's been. So that's kind of a neat thing here. Give you a little shot of the back. So we take this out on day trips now and again. We haven't used it in a bit. We've probably had it 5 or 6 years now. But like I said, it's clean. It's original paint. And we'll get Shauna. So the inside has been a real prize for Shauna that she's happy with. She had to make some curtains and basic upgrades. So we'll have her open the door and show you the glory in here. And so look at all that glorious 70s color. Lots of oranges and yellows and browns. I'll give you a little shot here. We redid these panels up here when our kids were smaller and had them sleeping up there, and we slept down the bottom. I mean, camper vans definitely aren't too spacious, but they'll get the job done.
You can stand up in there. You
can stand up in there with the raised roof, and I hauled my race car, Mad Max, to the racetrack with this, and a couple times actually. Well, I won last summer, and yeah, it worked well. So the latest project, well, show us your latest project here, Shauna. This is the floor. So explain the floor to us.
2 years actually. Well, it didn't have to take that long, but it did.
Started 2 years ago.
Yeah, I had to rip out the indoor-outdoor carpet.
Which was pretty mangy.
Yeah, the backing was all powdery, the black backing.
Just the glue gave up.
Away. And so basically, the smell of a thrift store times 30. It was pretty nasty.
So old van smell.
Old. Yeah, very old.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that got all ripped out, and then I had to sand the floor.
And why'd you do it that way?
Well, I tried to find some vinyl that I wanted, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, like in the old style colors, 70s look.
Everything is all
newer,
and it just didn't suit. So I ended up getting a stencil, and Jenna and I stenciled that last year. And then I painted, I painted, and then Jenna and I stenciled, and then I just actually finished painting this morning.
Yeah.
And I have to do a coat of clear on it just to protect it. But
so that's the original wood subfloor there?
Yep.
And then you sanded it?
Yep.
And then I like how it's the paint's been weathered.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's been there from original, but definitely the colors sure tie in with everything.
Yeah. I'll open up the back and you can...
Yeah, we can have a look there too.
You can see right through that way. It's definitely a labor of love. I'll go open up the bath. That's the bathroom that you're looking
Oh,
in
that's
right
the
now.
bathroom. Yeah, it comes with a little porta potty. Nothing, permanent as far as bathroom fixtures and stuff. But there you go, all the way through there, and a bit of a kitchenette here. Yeah. Give you a shot of this other side here. So yeah, like I said, it's a really clean unit. It's a lot of fun. We've picked up a few of our latest decals. They're not so easy to find. You can't just get them anywhere. But we want to continue the tradition of marking everywhere it's been. You know, that's the van's history, right? Where it's gone. And then this originally came from Crosstown Motors, which is a big Chrysler dealer in Edmonton, Alberta. It's where it's sold new. And it had a plaque here, but it had faded. But it said family wagon on it, but it had faded off. So we had some good friends of ours, Vic and Pat, did some research to find the font and everything, and they had it printed up for us. I'm just going to show you this side. This is the original dealer emblem there, and then the family wagon. So incidentally, Crosstown Motors is one of, if not the biggest volume dealer in high performance muscle cars back in the day, because Alberta is a rich oil province, and you had a lot of young guys buying fancy cars. Anyway, they were quite a high volume. They might have sold the most muscle cars for a dealer in all of Canada, and probably, I don't know about the States, but anyway, I'm just going to show you. This originally came with a 318 automatic. A couple little dingers here in the hood. Sean, if you want to grab that. Yeah, so it came with a 318 with the automatic, and I think it's like a 321 differential. But the first year I told Mad Max to the Lower Mainland, Vancouver area to go racing, drag racing. You've got to go over a mountain pass, and it really struggled on there. So I ended up finding a freshly rebuilt 360. So I switched it out. I put a 4-barrel carburetor on there. I've got headers, and had the rad redone. It's a 26-inch rad, and we had it 3-core done to it, and that was quite expensive. But you know how vans are, or anything towing, it's cooling is of paramount, and especially when you're doing it in the summertime. So I had all that redone, and I'll show you what I did underneath here. It's kind of hard to see here. So you get the headers coming down, so collectors, and then I built my own exhaust. I ordered a Summit Racing X-pipe kit, and then back to dual exhaust all the way back. So my theory was to keep it as efficient as possible. So by doing stuff like that, you gain efficiency, and you gain power. So hopefully better mileage, and that's what it did. Over the 318, I probably gained 80 to 100 horsepower and torque, and I got 1 mile per gallon better mileage. So it was a win-win. It was a worthwhile shop. And I also added a stage or a towing shift kit to the transmission, so it shifts really firm. But a neat thing about this van is it has 39,777 original miles. I think it had 35 or 36 when we got it.
Yeah, I think it was 34 actually.
Or was it 34,000 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it's a low mileage machine, and anyway, here's a little shot. Those are the original seats and upholstery, and then I found these vintage mats in an old motorhome, and they were custom fitted to the floor here, and the little Dodge thing there, that's pretty cool. And where's the doghouse, and yeah. So I'll give you a shot back here. So we call her Hazel. It just seems fitting for the color and the vintage, and yeah. It used to have another name, but we recently changed it just because Shauna preferred it that way.
She needed to have a name that was fitting of her age.
There you go. So that's our camper van. Okay, something a little different from the cars is this 72, no, it's 73. I forget. 73 Dodge D100. I found this truck locally here. It was sold new in town. I got it from the son of the original owner. The original owner had it and restored or repainted and fixed up back in 96, I believe. And then 98, he passed away and the son had it. And the son really, he drove it for a little bit, but otherwise it sat in his front yard up by the road along his driveway since 1998. Didn't move. And I grabbed it last year when he called me up. And yeah, it was super cheap. Sitting forever, so mainly I wanted to see if it ran. And you can look up close, you can see it's just filthy. But it's a cool color. It's called burnt orange, which is neat for this year truck. And it's just a basic plain Jane 318 automatic. And I'm not sure if it was rebuilt before or not. Some of the paint looks pretty fresh, 25-year-old fresh anyway. I hooked it up to a gas can and it runs flawless. And it looks like the transmission's been rebuilt as well because it was painted. And so, yeah, it's a neat truck. I mean, it's a basic truck, but I do love these 70s Dodges, and I think one of the favorite things for me is this right here. Medium burnt orange metallic. It's just orange is my favorite color for muscle cars and stuff, and this is a bit of a burnt orange, but really nice. So I'm going to attempt to bring back the color. This is, like I say, the repaint, but I think I should be able to polish it to some degree, and I think it'll come up, and it'll be what it'll be as far as paint condition and stuff. And then the old original owner added 2 flap doors like this on either side, one on either side, because he put auxiliary gas tanks in. I guess he liked to drive and not stop, I guess. So I'm going to pull those out. Probably for now I'll leave those in because, otherwise you get a big hole. But anyway, looks good in the two-tone. And it is an adventure with all the chrome package. And, of course, with dog dish hubcaps, eh? Bit in the box there, some original wheels that came with it. I had to switch them out because the tires were rotten. There's a bit of a mess in here, a bunch of storage, but look at that glorious burnt orange metallic. Yeah, so it's power steering, power disc brakes. Yeah, pretty typical of these trucks. It's rusty. I mean, overall it's decent, but it's got rusty rockers, and the box has some rust, right down here low. A lot of it probably from sitting in the grass. Long grass kills cars because it just wicks up the moisture. He put an aftermarket carpet in it. The floors look good from the bottom. And it's got 113,000, there you go. I'll get it right. 113,000 miles, and the son said that would be original. Nice windshield and everything. So my plans for this is I wouldn't mind making it a shop truck style build, have some hand painted littering here and there, pile of Mopars shop or whatever, garage, and just make a neat gopher vehicle, right? You go out and run errands and just have fun driving something old. It's the old embossed tailgate. Nice decent bumper. And down this side, you can see lots of moss here, but this will all come right off. I haven't done anything with it. It used to have a bunch of hooks here, 2 on each side for, you know, holding tarps down. A bit of rot through here, but you know, it is what it is, right? And there's another fuel door. Yeah, again, just moss. So, like I said, it runs and tranny works at yard drives. Gonna have to go through the brakes. You know, they're gonna be 30 years worth of seized up, you know, not working functionally and fine. So we'll order calipers, wheel cylinders, master cylinder, pretty basic stuff, brake hoses. You know, it's probably $150 worth at Rock Auto. And yeah, we'll get it roadworthy. I believe the exhaust is good. The rad looks good. And yeah, and give the engine a clean off. It's just a little 2-barrel carter on there. This would be cool with headers, dual exhaust, and a 4-barrel and stuff. Kind of like what I did with the orange 4-wheel drive. But yeah, neat truck, and maybe that'll make a neat swap meet. Sorry, a neat shop truck. We went to that swap meet last weekend with the orange truck, and I found one of these. You know, pretty basic item by and large, but I don't have much for early Dodge truck stuff, so anyway, it was a good deal. And that's that one. And we've got a race car coming up next. Okay, this is the last car we're going to see for today. You would have seen little bits of this on the channel. This is my 69 Barracuda race car. I bought this 2 years ago from a buddy of mine, Paul, who recently passed away, I mentioned earlier. Anyway, it's just sitting on its roller tires. I keep the race tires in the shop over the winter, just keep them warm and good shape. That's what I ran down in the Vancouver area at the drag strip, quarter mile, 1109, at 120 or 121. It's a pretty mild build up. The car weighs about 2,900 pounds without me in it. It's a fairly mild 440. I'll pop the hood and show you that. Here, in decent shape, and it was a really good car, a really good deal, and it was a turnkey deal, so I'm happy with the purchase. Quite often when people say it's turnkey, ready to go, it's never the case, but this was by and large good to go. I had to do a bit of front end work, tie rods and idler arms, stuff like that. They were a little loosey-goosey, but it came well equipped. It was, you know, well built car. You know, underneath the back here we've got a narrowed Dana 60. We got Caltrac monoleaf, leaf springs, and bars. We've got adjustable shocks front and back. Actually, just the back. No, front and back. There was adjustables in the front too. Anyway, it's a 456 with a spool in there. And of course, being on the rollers, it really changes the look of the car. The big fat tires are what really attracted me when I first seen this car, because they're quite large for the back, and you know, of course, skinny's up front. And it just had that retro vibe. You know, the back end was high and the big fat tires. It reminded me of a Sox and Martin car from, say, you know, 69, 70, 71, when they got into the Pro Stock instead of the Super Stock, and just had the big, massive tires, because that's exactly what it reminded me of. So I'm, you know, most modern build drag cars are tucked low over the big tire, but I like this, how it's stuck up and had the ass high, just because it was retro, and I'm all about the retro for sure. It's got, you know, plastic side glass, Lexan or whatever it is. Gutted doors, you know, no regulators or stuff. Pretty Spartan inside. You know, it's got a nice cage. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-point cage. It's got an air shifter, which is nice. Makes it for, you know, try and get consistent with the brackets. Although, you know, I still struggle. And It's got a trans brake and of course line lock for doing the burnout. Trans brake is nice. It's a 4,000 stall with a 727 automatic, full manual. Yeah, I leave about 4,000 with trans brake, and it snaps pretty good. Anyway, it's been running flawless. There's last summer's races. Me and a buddy Ken, we dragged this car down on a trailer with the van, the brown van. Here, I'll pop the hood. Well, here we are. Here's the 440. It's just a 10-to-1 flat top engine. Nice fender wells, TTI fender wells. Motor plate, electric water pump, of course electric rad. I see the mice have been through here over the winter. But you know, I have no choice. I gotta keep it outside because there's just no shop space. MST ignition box is inside there. So anyway, there's a couple changes I want to make. I did talk to the guy who had it before my buddy. My buddy didn't own it very long. Anyway, he said he had the total timing set at conservative 28 or 29 degrees. And honestly, the car ran so well and stuff that I never even checked the timing. But normally I would run 34 to 36. So I think there's a bit in it on my time. Like I say, that was an 11:09 at about 1:20, 1:21. So I'm going to advance the time before I race it this year. I want to put a big single plane on. To me, a dual plane, I mean, Performer RPM is a good intake, but it doesn't belong in a race car with 456 gears and a 4,000 stall, right? There's no point in having low-end power through your intake when you're leaving the line at 4,000 RPM. So I want to get a nice tall single plane on there. This is an 830. Man, there's lots of corrosion from sitting over the winter here. God, I hate that. Same with on here. It's an 830 CFM double pumper, and it works flawless. There's no bogs, no hesitation, no nothing. But I do want to switch that. And then these heads. These are Edelbrock RPM heads, and they're definitely a good head. I'm not complaining about the head. I just don't think they're as much race. I think they're more of a street type head, although like I say, they perform good. Anyway, I recently bought a nice set of Edelbrock Victor with the Max Wedge Port heads. They're used but barely used, so I want to switch them onto here, and then I want to put the single plane, and I might need a little bit bigger carburetor. You know how racing goes, right? You always want to go faster, so that's where they're going to head with this, hopefully to pick up maybe, 4 to 5 tenths, half a second. I wouldn't mind running in the mid 10s or low 10s would be fun. So I didn't get a chance to do any of those modifications yet, so it's still in last year's tune. So I'm going to advance the timing to where I want it and start with that, and maybe get an intake and switch that out. That'll be easy, fairly quick stuff to do. There was racing this weekend, and I had planned to go last weekend, but I was sick for most of the week with a nasty cold. I was even off work for a bit. It was a pretty bad one, but so I didn't get any of my stuff done that I wanted, and to get going. So I didn't get to go. This was the first race of the season, but there'll be more coming up. I think in a couple of weeks. Have to see if my schedule's good to go, but yeah, it's a lot of fun to drive, and I can't wait to get out there again. So anyway, that is the final car of the collection. Yeah, looks kind of wimpy with those tires, but you've seen pictures of it otherwise, so you know what it's supposed to look like. So I guess that's it for today. Another episode of Pile of Mopars. That's pretty much it for the collection. Like I said earlier in the first videos, I don't search the internets looking for more cars. They kind of find me, and I've got enough cars, and I'm not so if the right deal presents itself, I might pick something up, but for now I'm just happy with what I got. So thanks for watching, and